What's going on, everybody? Hopefully,
What's going
everybody
on?
is doing good. Doing good. So we got
I
some
like the
people.
intro, but I don't think we could hear anything, Cyrus.
Oh yeah, y'all couldn't hear anything. Okay, so
But I
we'll
like
make
the
that.
images.
The images look good. The
Yeah.
images look good. Okay, cool. So,
So let's
yeah,
make
y'all.
sure
So,
people are hearing us though. Let's check again. If you can hear us, put a one in the chat
oh yeah, they
before
can.
we
They can.
start spending a whole hour,
Oh
talking.
yeah, they can hear. They can hear us. It's a different where I was sharing it on. So I'll add it a different way next time. So Ronnie confirmed though one. Lincoln confirmed
Yeah.
one. Hey, what's going on, y'all? So we see Adam, Trill, got a few people in the chat. So Trill says, okay, cool. All right, wonderful, wonderful, good stuff. All right, look, y'all. So look, we have some amazing, amazing things to talk about today. I have an incredible guest here, someone who I've been blessed to be able to interview before when it comes to the platform. And so we have Jubee here, who is the founder of YellowTail Tech. I've interviewed many of their alumni. For any of you that are unfamiliar, I've interviewed many of their alumni who now work in the industry. I've had the pleasure of interviewing some of their instructors and leaders as well. And YellowTail Tech is a program where they oversee Linux admin roles, cloud admin roles. Many people are able to get roles as cloud engineers, as well as many others that we're going to be able to talk about. So make sure y'all have y'all's questions prepared in the chat. For those that are interested in getting in the tech industry, I did a review earlier this year of the top industries in tech to get into 2025. And literally, the roles that you get through YellowTail Tech are at the top of that list. It's in demand despite what's happening with AI, despite what's happening with the market going up and down. Literally, what they train on is in very high demand, and we're going to talk about that all throughout this entire conversation. So again, make sure y'all have y'all's questions prepared. I am very curious to know, as we're jumping into this and getting started, how familiar everyone here is when it comes to the cloud industry, when it comes to any Linux roles, cloud roles. Even we're going to talk a little bit about GovTech. I know some of you are interested in GovTech. There's some overlap when it comes to opportunity in there when it comes to YellowTail Tech. So very curious to know what all you are familiar with in the chat as we are about to go ahead and get started. For those of you that are interested, those of you that are tuning in from Instagram, all you need to do is comment Linux admin. I'm going to go ahead and pin that in the chat. That's Linux admin, ADMIN, and the automation is going to send that over to you. Again, all you need to do is comment Linux admin, and a link will go to you in your inbox. And for those of you that are tuning in on YouTube, LinkedIn, just to play it safe, I have some automation set up, but just to play it safe, make sure that you go in the description down below, because the automations might not be working properly because this platform, StreamYard, is technology. It's still getting these things together. Make sure you go down to the description down below, click on the link specifically for YellowTail Tech, so that way you can go ahead and have a free consultation with their team. YellowTail Tech has won, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but they've won the Inc. 500 fastest growing companies in the world 2 years, fastest growing companies 2 years in a row. So that says a lot about the quality of their program, the quality of their team. I had the privilege of, I got a lot of things to talk about, the privilege of actually spending some time with their team this past December, being able to see a beautiful wedding, actually the most incredible wedding I've ever seen in my entire life. We're going to talk about that, but talk about how all of that relates to having the opportunity, the privileges of being in an amazing industry, working in the industry, but also helping so many people get in the industry as well. So, Jubee, thank you so much for coming on, for taking time out of your evening to be able to come on here and be able to educate people. Again, y'all, we got a lot of questions prepared, so make sure everyone that has questions that you have your questions prepared as well, because once we get to the question area, we're going to blast through the questions to answer everybody, because we're only going to be here for a limited amount of time. So, all right. So, all right, we're live. We're good on Instagram as well. All right, I see y'all commenting. Hey, AutoTune, see you commenting Linux admin. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and jump straight into it. Let me go ahead and remove this off of my. All right, wonderful. All right, so Jubee, let's go ahead and jump into it. So I had the privilege of interviewing several of your alumni at this point. who are working in the tech industry, and a lot of the people that I've interviewed, one of the kind of constant recurring notions that were happening was that when they like once they were in the interview process with different companies, honestly, many of them were not like in lengthy interview process. Many of them were getting the roles, getting the jobs right away. And one of the themes that we talked about last year was how in demand the roles that people are provided through YellowTail Tech are in the tech industry, despite how the market was last year. So my question, let's just kind of talk about it. 2025, this year has started off incredibly volatile for several reasons. Whether we're talking things that are in politics, whether we're talking AI, tariffs, all types of things has just made everything incredibly strange, incredibly strange. That being said, how is the Linux space doing, the cloud space, that industry? I'm hearing from people that industry is still doing incredibly well. The industry is still growing, but obviously you sit directly in that space. I'm curious, 2025, what does that industry, that side of the tech industry, look like for careers?
Well, in 2025, what I see is that Linux is only getting more relevant, in fact, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people probably don't realize the bigger the internet grows, the more Linux will be relevant, because servers and supercomputers, even AI, AI computation is powered by Linux. So yes, AI is coming, AI is here, but also what powers AI is supercomputers. And these supercomputers, what operating system they run, it's Linux. So the bigger the internet, the not only the internet but the tech space gets,
Mm-hmm.
the more demand there's going to be for that skill, that skill at this point I call foundational skills, which is Linux. So it's a good time. It was a good time 10 years ago to learn Linux. It's even a better time now to learn Linux, but there's a caveat to it. Now, learning Linux alone will not necessarily get you ready for the marketplace. You need other peripheral knowledge. This is what I want to make sure people understand. You need to understand automation, because a lot of things that are happening in a Linux environment, they go through a Linux operating system, but with a layer of automation on top of it. So that's why now, to stay relevant, to stay not only relevant, but to be employable, on top of having Linux knowledge, you need to have automation skills, which is
Mm-hmm.
something we've added to our program to make it more relevant, to make our students more relevant to the marketplace. So,
So
to answer your question a bit shortly, is Linux is not only relevant now as it was 10 years ago, it's more relevant.
mhm. So you say adding automation because right now that's where the world is going. I don't know, confirm for me in the chat, y'all, what y'all are seeing in terms of automation, AI, all of these things. We see that the world is heading towards automation. We say that when it comes to Linux, that you're teaching people automation as it relates to Linux. You don't have to go too much into detail, but just on a high level, like what does that mean, or what does
Yeah.
that look like exactly?
Yeah. The first thing I want to make sure you understand, there's a difference between AI,
Mhm.
the AI, the end user experience of AI, which is what you interact with in a large language model like ChatGPT, and the back end that's actually running the computation, running those large language models. The automation I'm
Mhm.
talking about is in the back end, is in the on the server, on the operating system level. Um, Now, this is that it basically the AI you use now, the AI agents, the AI tools you use, they have a backend that's actually run with automation in Linux. So that's the kind of automation we're talking about. Now, to be a little more specific, we teach you mostly automation that runs on um, a Red Hat tool called Ansible. The
Mhm.
reason why is because Ansible is the most um, used automation tool. It's very easy to understand. It uses human language to actually interact with it. So if you want to have it do something, you literally type, "Hey, go do this," and it
Okay,
actually does it.
so someone
So
doesn't have to code, like they don't have the ones and the zeros in order to prompt it.
no,
Literally, they could just
no,
use normal human language.
yes, well, kind of. Now, it's
Okay.
not like you're gonna write a letter. It's not like writing an email.
Hmm.
But it uses human syntaxes, regular words like power this, turn off that, do this. It uses uh, uh, you English words basically. So that's what
Hmm.
I mean. So it's very powerful. It's very scalable. It's used in enterprise environment and smaller environment and everything in between. Um, and it's also owned by Red Hat, which is the biggest Linux operating system out there. So that's why we went with Ansible in terms of the automation tool we offer our students as integral part of our Linux program currently.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And I know you were mentioning how, and I mean, y'all let me know in the chat based on what y'all have seen. Clearly, everything is getting more and more ramped up. Literally today, I don't know if y'all seen it, but today, President Trump, some of the leaders in, I believe, in either Saudi Arabia or I believe Dubai met today along with Elon Musk, along with Sam Altman, who's the founder of OpenAI ChatGPT, along with Jensen Huang, who's the founder of NVIDIA, which is one of the top companies in the world. Literally today, I don't know if y'all saw the news, all of these leaders met today. And the reason why they met is because Dubai, really the UAE, United Arab Emirates, but everybody knows about Dubai, but the UAE, the world for the last probably 100 years has ran off of oil. Oil has been the future of, it's not the future, it's been the end all be all in terms of wealth. But now the Middle East realizes that the future of everything is technology, that the tech world is the new future. And so, literally, the leaders in the Middle East, again, I'm not speaking for all of them, but at least one of the leaders in the Middle East, they just invested, I believe it's between 400 to 600 billion dollars, or they pledged they're investing 400 to 600 billion dollars into the US, specifically into the tech market and the tech sector, because they realize that oil is always going to be here, but they realize that there's a changing of the guards that's happening. And they realize that they have built up the majority of their wealth because of the oil that they have in their region. But now they realize that if they don't heavily invest over $500 billion into the tech sector, that they potentially risk falling behind. And so when you spoke earlier about these supercomputers, which Jensen Huang, the founder of NVIDIA, talks heavily about supercomputers. When you speak about a lot of these computers and these systems having to run off of Linux, it makes a lot of sense now as to why the Linux space is exploding so much. And I mean,
Yeah,
let me know in the chat if that makes sense to y'all as well. Because I mean, we speak about, okay, we talk about certain tech industries booming, certain growing, and then others going down. But then to know the why behind it, that clicks and
yeah,
makes so much sense that since it's booming so much, this technology, a lot of it needs Linux to run off of as a foundation. I mean, we see a
exactly.
comment
It's
from
like
okay.
it's the fuel behind the AI boom. Because don't forget, what you and I are using when we talk about AI is the front end. It's the user interface.
Mhm.
Cyrus, you do know there's something operating in the back end. There's
Yeah.
computing power happening. You
Mhm.
see what I mean? That's what NVIDIA
Yeah.
is building, is actually chips for to enhance those computing powers. So a lot of people kind of confused the AI revolution and are not necessarily confusing, but collapsing the AI revolution with the infrastructure needs. So if you have bigger infrastructure, trust me, in the back end, they don't have they are not where they can just let this infrastructure just run automatically by itself. Yes, there are
Mm,
automation, but there needs to be people. If not, there's going to be a big risk for them. So
mm,
you still need people understanding how to manage, how to grow and scale those infrastructures. So
mm.
I always try to make sure people don't collapse the rise of AI with the need of Linux and Linux system administration and cloud computing and so on. You know,
Yeah,
they are both technologies, but one is in the front end, users for the user to enjoy, and one is the in the back end for actually operators to actually keep running.
yeah.
That's what basically that's what a Linux system administrator does, which is keep the infrastructure running for you to be able to run your queries to actually do the front end that the AI allows you to do.
Yeah, this is so good, and I love this so much because it's really important. Like, as people talk about or look at what's happening in the industry, I tell people oftentimes it's not about the news is going to report on what scares people, and oftentimes what I tell people is that the tech industry in and of itself is not a monolith. It's like one side of
Exactly.
the industry can be going down and never even come back. And the other side of the industry could be going up and up. And really, what people should look at is instead of looking at news about the tech industry, they should look at what tech sectors are growing. Because even when the tech industry, notoriety wise, was booming in popularity, I would say back in 2021. What people don't realize, there were certain sectors in tech that still weren't
That
booming.
was still, yeah. And
Yeah, and
also,
so
it's like Linux as well, Cyrus. In the past 10 years, by the way, YellowTail is going to celebrate 10 years of helping people transition into tech, in about 6 months or less. So we've
man,
been actively helping people, get into this industry, and things has really changed.
mhm,
Let alone things have really changed from when I learned about Linux. So what I'm saying is the systems are not staying static, but they're still relevant.
mhm,
Now, the other pattern I want to let people know is that you need, because I heard you talk about this 2 weeks ago, you need to know more. You need to be the expectation for an entry level position requires more. So
yeah,
that's one thing people need to understand. You cannot just whip up a resume, which used to happen 10 years ago. You spend a month with your buddy and he tells you the right answers to go say in an interview and get the job. You
mhm,
cannot get away with that kind of
yeah,
laxism anymore. That I
mhm,
want to make sure people know.
yeah,
Because the last thing I want, and that's how we've been able to stay relevant on the market for 10 years, is to attract the wrong students to our offering. We want to attract students who are committed, who understand real work is required, who are here to learn, who are here to level up. Not
yeah,
here because this is a get rich quick, get into
mhm,
the industry quick without any type of real effort. That
yeah,
I want to make sure people understand. The
yeah.
requirements are matching the rate of the technology, but the demand is still there. You see?
Mhm. Yeah. Now that's really good. One of the things I've always appreciated about YellowTail Tech, I'll be real, full transparency, y'all. YellowTail Tech is the only program that I've ever known that says that. Where usually, if y'all look out here in the market, you'll see a lot of programs that'll push, get a $200,000 tech job, get $150,000 tech job with very minimal effort. YellowTail Tech, that's one thing y'all have never been about. You're really big on telling people the requirements, what it takes to make sure that you're getting people that are serious but also to make sure you're getting people that are going to put the work in, so that way they can have the success that they're looking for. And that's one of the things that I've always appreciated about YellowTail Tech. So
Yeah.
a few comments. Real quick, I want to say to y'all that I just checked the automations. Everything should be good to go for YellowTail Tech. So for those of y'all that are on LinkedIn, excuse me, those of y'all that are on YouTube and Instagram, all you need to do is comment. I'll go ahead and pin it here for you all. All you need to do is comment Linux admin, and you should be able to get the link. The link should pop up in the chat for you for YellowTail Tech. And again, if for whatever reason it doesn't work for you, all you need to do is go down in the description down below, click on the link, so that way you can set up a free consultation with their team. So that way you can see that if YellowTail Tech is right for you. Again, the Linux space is booming, it's growing. I've said this time and time again. We might touch on this a little bit later on, depending on how Jubee is feeling in the time frame. But I personally said this recently, that I personally believe these are the last couple of years to be able to get entry level tech roles. Not there will be still opportunity some years from now, but in terms of it still being a huge wide open window, it is one of those times, y'all, where we have to jump on it. We have to move forward, because literally this industry is moving, it's shaking. A lot of beautiful, incredible things are happening, but it's definitely moving in a way that in a few years it will be unpredictable as to what entry level opportunities will be there, specifically entry level roles, entry level opportunities. And so we might talk about that a little bit more so later. Let me delete this. So all right, so you commented Linux admin. Okay. All right, so yeah, so for those of y'all that are on YouTube, if the Linux admin automation is not popping up for you, just look down in the description below, because it doesn't look like it's popping up. Jubee also just put it there in the chat as well, so y'all can click on it right there, or you can copy that link if it's not allowing you to click on it, because I know YouTube's been acting strange with the links. For those of y'all that are on Instagram, all you need to do, look at the pinned post that's there, comment Linux admin, so that way you can schedule a free consultation with their team, be able to get set up, with a Linux role through YellowTail Tech. All right, y'all. So we've got a lot of good questions in here. I'm seeing some amazing questions. So usually we would wait to the end to get to the questions, but I want to jump into a couple of these questions, and then we're going to transition back into some of the questions that I personally have. So we talked a lot about Linux. Jubee, what opportunities are there for, or are there any opportunities for, like, let's say someone is a student of YellowTail Tech, and they're interested in something that might be with AWS, which for those that don't know, that's Amazon Web Services. It's a part of, in a way, a part of Amazon, but it's similar to Linux in a way. So what about Amazon Web Services? What about Google Cloud, Cloud or GCP?
Yeah, the cloud services are even more relevant. But one thing I want to make sure you understand, again, it's the same analogy I did before. The cloud computing is an abstraction of a real operating system called Linux. So in order for you to operate as a cloud engineer, you need to understand the underlying operating system, how it works. So how relevant is AWS? It's even more relevant than 5 years. But what's more important is to have the right fundamentals, not only around Linux, around networking. Most importantly, networking in Linux. So one thing we've done is dial back how much we push AWS on people, because we realized the best way to start is to start with Linux, master that, get an RHCSA, and then if that's important to you to take the leap, you go for AWS, but you master Linux first. So now we have a ratio of 90-10. We actually track most of our students in Linux first, get their foot in the door, and then go for AWS. Because what I see is only a few people with some technology background come ready enough to go straight for cloud jobs and thrive. Because there is getting hired for a cloud job, and there's thriving in the cloud, a cloud position.
Yeah.
So we've seen more success when the person gets that step. That's before getting straight into cloud, which is Linux. You see, because the abstraction is even more confusing if you don't understand the underlying operating system that allows that abstraction to happen, which is
Yeah.
Linux. You see?
Okay, that makes so much sense now. Because in my mind, I thought that Linux, and y'all, this is why it's important to have these conversations with people that are at a high level, like Jubee, because obviously I have a good understanding in general of the tech industry, of certain tech roles, of certain spaces. When you have someone that's at such a high level that's helped so many people get roles as Linux administrator, Linux administrator roles, and others that are in the cloud space, you're able to get a lot more detail like this, y'all. So this is why I love it when y'all are here. Y'all are able to tune in and get this information. So because I thought that Linux was just, I thought it was just a completely, which I know it is different, but I didn't realize it in a way. It's a really amazing foundational to actually build that foundation to get those other roles in the
Let
cloud
me put it
sector.
this way: M- most, if not all, AWS uh, um, professionals, they were Linux engineers before AWS came around,
Oh wow.
and that allowed them to understand the abstraction called cloud, because it's just an abstraction. It's just doesn't it just allows you to manage infrastructure without having to see the codes behind it. That's why they call it infrastructure as code. So basically it abstracts it's basically like AI. Now you have fun, you ask ChatGPT things, it does things for you, but something is really happening in the back end, right? It's the
Mhm.
same thing like as cloud. What's really happening in the back end? It's an operating system called Linux, actually running the operations, and then you have a more abstracted user interface to interact with with those infrastructures. That's what cloud is. It's not really in the cloud. There's this a very common thing they say about cloud. The cloud is not really in the cloud. It's actually in it's in the server farms. That's what
Mhm.
the cloud really is. It's a server farm that's running Linux. It's just the way you manage that. It's in a more abstracted form. You see.
Yeah.
So
Okay, this
yeah.
makes so much sense. All right, look, y'all, we getting some good nuggets, some good lessons here. Hope y'all are appreciating this. This is why I appreciate people like Jubee coming on and dropping these good gems for us to be able to educate us. So, all right, so let's go ahead and transition a little bit. So, I mentioned earlier how YellowTail Tech. I'm going to be real. I'm familiar with a lot of amazing programs that are out there. I've never heard of a tech educational program or ed tech program that won the Inc. 500's fastest growing company, let alone winning it 2 years in a row. And so I know that when we had first met, it was shortly after YellowTail Tech had just won that award, I believe back in 2023. And then recently, towards the tail end of 2024, YellowTail Tech was able to achieve that award again. Two things I want to know. One, what does that mean to, because I know some people here are like, what's the Inc. 500, Inc. 500's fastest growing companies. So one, what does that mean exactly, to
Yes.
win that award? And then two, how, like, what makes YellowTail Tech, how have you managed and your team is operating YellowTail Tech in such a way that you've been able to achieve such an accomplishment? Because doing something one time usually shows, okay, someone just put in a lot of effort, even just for a certain season, but doing it 2 years in a row shows consistency. So one, what does that actually mean? And two, how has YellowTail Tech been able to accomplish that level of consistency and quality?
Yeah. The first thing I want to say is that we applied. We are most likely gonna be featured for a third time, so it's
Amazing.
probably gonna be three times in a row. But to go back to your question, is, to me at least, it's focusing on the results and focusing on the customer, which is our student.
Mhm.
And if you do that, and if you do right by your student, if you are transparent in what you're trying to deliver, the
Mhm.
rest I see will sort itself out. If you build an institution as opposed to a program, which is what I've tried to do in the past 10 years, where you bring in collaborators, employees that buy into the mission, it actually helps. Because me alone, I'm just the CEO. I work
Mhm.
about, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, but my team, I know they work way more hours. So
Mhm.
basically, it's leveraging a team that buys in, and that can help you run the operation. You see, so to me, it's two things really. It's being customer obsessed, being obsessed about improving the program, listening to the feedback, and actually real time address and try to deliver a better product to the marketplace. And secondly, find a way to have employee buy-in, because at this point it's my team running this because they bought into the mission. The mission is way bigger than me.
Mhm.
It's team wide now. So that's why we are able to actually go as far for as long. If it were only me running this, doing this, I would have burned out already. You know.
Speaking of team, I'm gonna be real. So first off, shouts out to you for you showing so much love and respect to your team, and not just saying like, oh, it's all me, it's all Jubee, Jubee and Paloma. But I don't know if any of you all saw my story on Instagram back in December, but I was in Medellin, Colombia, and I actually had the privilege of being at Jubee's wedding. And I posted it in my story that it was the most incredible wedding I had ever been to in my life by far. It was so beautiful. It was a Haitian and Dominican wedding because Jubee is Haitian and his wife Paloma, she's Dominican. For anyone who knows, Haiti and the Dominican Republic actually share an island together. They're like on two separate sides of the same very large island. And so it was such a amazing thing to see a mashup of culture. But what really impressed me, I'm actually gonna share my screen and kind of show a couple little highlights or whatever, just so y'all. Because for those of y'all that missed it and didn't get to see the story, you really got to see like how incredible it was. It was such a beautiful and amazing time to be able to see. I probably got to add it to the stage separately. But yeah, it was such an amazing time. One thing I want to say is that while I'm pulling it up, is that there were YellowTail Tech collaborators that were there at the wedding. So I was there enjoying myself, and I looked around and I saw people, y'all, that were there. Now, mind you, we're in Medellin, Colombia, completely out of the country, out of the continent, however you want to put it. And I'm seeing collaborators, people that I've interviewed that are there at the wedding. And when I saw that, I was so blown away by that. I was like, "Yo, this is incredible!" Because it's one thing to say that you have a mission to help people. It's an entirely different thing when people that you've helped and people that are collaborating with you to help others support so much that it's truly become such a cohesive team that people are going to take time out of their lives, not just to be at a wedding, but to be at a wedding in an entirely different continent.
I
And that says so much.
well, I think it's because of the way we built Yellowtail Tech. The way we built Yellowtail Tech is encourage students to come back as collaborators, as instructors, as TAs, as coaches, as people just to encourage the brand in general. So that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing. And secondly, it's about creating a family like environment for for our employees. So basically, we had a lot of employees there. We had a lot of students. that actually, became in the process became my friend. So it's a testament of how I always wanted to build this company. It's to me, it's the only way to have something sustainable is to have as many people as possible buy into the process. You know.
Yeah. No, it's so beautiful. It's so, like y'all see, like there was so much to the wedding. It was so incredible, but you could feel the love and you could really feel the family. You could feel the community. You could feel the different sides. But then even my interaction again with the YellowTail Tech collaborators that were there, it's like they were excited. I mean, I see Stefan here in the chat. He's someone, if y'all don't know, he's someone that I've interviewed. He's a YellowTail Tech a collaborator as well, YellowTail Tech alumni.
Exactly.
I had the pleasure of interviewing him literally right here in the chat right now, y'all. So he's an alumni from YellowTail Tech. So again, this says so much about, because again, it's one thing to say, okay, we're here to help people get in the industry, but it says an entirely different thing where when you help people and you're collaborating with helping people, that there's such an impact that's made during the process that whether it's months later or years later, those people are still like, hey, I still want to promote YellowTail Tech. I want to tell people about it. I want to show like people, hey, this is a route that you should take. Because I'm gonna be real. I've seen people do programs before, and then they get in the industry, and then they're like, yeah, okay, it helped me, but they didn't have an experience of quality. And I think really that's the consistent thing with YellowTail Tech is that there's such a level of quality assurance, and that quality feels like love to people. It feels like, man, because they can feel the love that you place into something. And so again, y'all, I low key just wanted to flex that I was at the wedding because it was such a beautiful, amazing wedding. But at the same time, I wanted y'all to see that, and I didn't even know that Stefan was going to be here in the chat. Stefan, unfortunately, wasn't, like he said in the chat, he wasn't there. He said, "I wish I came along sooner. I would have been there." Yeah, but other than that, y'all, I just want to kind of highlight this to y'all. Just a really,
And
really
and,
amazing
and,
thing.
and
Some of the stuff I
and
love about YellowTail Tech.
I wanna correct the record. It wasn't a wedding. It was a vow renewal.
Yes, vow renewal. Yeah, you know what's funny? When I first went, I was so confused because I was like, I thought Jubee and Paloma were married already for all
Yeah,
this time. Yeah, yeah.
the
So I keep
the
saying
thing
wedding, but
is,
vow renewal.
the first time around we kept it very simple. We went to the court and made it happen. So 10 years after, we always had the plan to actually have a proper celebration.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was. It's just a celebration more than anything else.
Yeah, this is. I was supposed to be showing Jubie and his wife, but I started turning to myself. Again, y'all, it was a great wedding. Y'all see Jubie and his wife look amazing, amazing, incredible. Again, y'all. So again, y'all, the purpose of this isn't to distract, but really just to show y'all just the beauty of people coming together. Such a beautiful wedding. And I'm gonna be real, y'all. Growing up, kind of how I grew up, not really having much. I definitely, while there, it was like, you know what? This is what it's like. Like weddings in and of itself are beautiful, but this is what it's like when you're around people that are doing well, around people that you've helped, and around people that you've been on a mission with to help others along with.
Yeah.
So it was
And
amazing wedding, amazing time.
in my in actually the wedding, there was at least 20 people that were either student or instructors that were students in some shape
Yeah,
or form. So it was very fun to have,
amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. See, I only knew the people that I knew, which I saw about a good 5 or 6 people myself. But that makes sense that there were many other people there in the room as well. So look, y'all, we're about to go ahead and get to some of you all's questions in just a moment. I just have a couple other things I want to ask, and then we will go ahead and get to you all's questions. I know a lot of you have questions. Again, y'all, for those of y'all that missed out, make sure for those of y'all that are just now tuning in, for those that are interested in a high-paying career in the Linux space, the cloud space, make sure that if you are on Instagram, all you have to do is comment Linux admin. Y'all see the pinned comment, just comment Linux admin. Have a free consultation with their team. For those of you that are on YouTube and LinkedIn, the automation isn't automating right now, so all you need to do is just click down below, go to the description below the video. You'll see the link that's there for you to click on that link. I would say click on the link, have it as a pin tab up while you're listening to the rest of this conversation and hearing answers to your questions and other people's questions. Or you can look in the chat. You can see the pinned. I literally have it pinned at the top of the chat where I have it down that if you are interested actually in my discount link, all you have to do is use that link. And as you speak with the team, once you decide to move forward, you'll be able to enroll using that discount link with YellowTail Tech. All right, so seeing a couple different comments. So Jubee, I'm not even really sure what this is. I've actually never seen this question before. Is there any correlation with this with the RHCSA or CSA?
Stefan could answer you. RHCE is the automation certification for Ansible. So the quick answer, SOC Hawkage, is yes, 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 yes. Go for the RTE because it's the automate. Basically, the way we rebuild the program is that after you get your Linux knowledge, after you get the apprenticeship, you have two choices. You either go on the job market or you add another 3 months. You make your skills more relevant for the marketplace. You go for Ansible. And if you want to be even more relevant, you do just like Stefan. You go for the certification that goes with the automation tool called Ansible. So basically, what SOC is asking is, should I go for the certification that basically certify that I know this automation tool well enough to work in it in an enterprise environment, which is gonna cut through the noise on the marketplace like butter. And Stefan can tell you as well. So
So
yes,
you,
yes, yes, that's what we actually encourage.
so when you say cut through the noise in a marketplace like butter, what does that mean exactly? So someone was
Yep.
like, okay, well,
Mhm.
I'm looking to get in Linux. What does that mean exactly? What is that? How does that benefit people?
Exactly. So here's exactly how it works. So the first level is learning Linux, and the way
Okay.
you convince the marketplace you know Linux is by getting the RHCSA, which is the
Okay.
Linux certification for Red Hat. Now, the way you convince the market you know Ansible automation is getting the RHCE. So there
Ah.
are levels to it. So if you
Mhm.
show up to the marketplace, if two people, two, let's take that analogy. If two Linux system administrators show up to the same job interview, one knows automation very well, one doesn't. The one who knows automation, who can prove it, who better yet has a certification to show that he knows it well, will get the job. So that's what I talk. That's what I mean when I talk about cutting through the noise.
Yeah.
The more you know, the more you can prove that you know, the
Yeah.
more likely you are to move to the next round of interview.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the marketplace in general, the job market, the boot camp marketplaces are very noisy. And
Hmm.
what you need in general to actually cut through the noise is to have something that most people don't. You see what I mean? It's to offer something to the marketplace that most people don't either have, are not willing to put in the work, or don't know about. So that's all it
Yeah.
is. If not, you are competing with with instead of competing with thousands, now you're competing with hundreds, a few hundred of
Yeah.
the people who actually have that certification.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
it means, really.
Yeah. And that's good because when you're competing with hundreds of people, you're competing with hundreds of people for thousands of jobs. So it's like now you're competing with people where there's now the inverse. There's more job opportunities than there are people that qualify for them. And so that makes so much sense. So y'all, I just highlighted a comment again. Stefan is a alum of YellowTail Tech. He said, "You separate yourself from others and stand out getting the next level certification after RHCSA, which is the RHCE." So summarizing what
Which is
Jubee
the
said.
automation tool that Red Hat has on the marketplace.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess let me ask this, Jubee. So people come to me often about certifications. And the thing is, I'm not the certification guy. People come to me like, hey, what certifications do I need for this? Usually what I encourage people not to run out and get a bunch of random certifications, because I say you can get a lot of random certifications and some of them will have nothing to do with what it is you want to do in the industry. And so that's why I recommend people to like YellowTail Tech, where I say, okay, they're going to give you the education, the practical application, but also like give you the direct certifications that it is that you need.
Yes.
So I know some people are going to ask this. We've already gotten some questions earlier where people were asking this question. As people that are doing YellowTail Tech, are there certifications that they get and or get prepared for through
Yes.
YellowTail Tech, and what does that look like exactly?
First, I want to make a case for why certifications are important, and then we're going to talk about which ones. When you show up to an interview, you don't have years of experience. You don't know the space very well. The only thing you have working for you, really, if you don't have a security clearance, is a certification. You see what I mean? So to me, it's a three-leg stool. It's the knowledge about the thing, it's the experience that only years can give you, which you don't have. You don't have years of experience in the space. And it's something that the third thing that sometimes or somewhat replaces the year of experience is the certification, not completely. So that's my case. That's the case I make for certification. When you show up in an industry without much years of experience, you need to have something that attempts to replace those years of experience, which is
That's good.
okay.
That makes sense.
So that's one thing. Now, about which certification is relevant is a very important question. We chose three certification that we think is hyper relevant nowadays. First, the Security Plus, not for any other reason than to position yourself for the GovTech industry, because we know Security Plus is more of a requirement for security, for data security, not necessarily for technical reason. They require a Security Plus. But in order for you to be taken seriously, to even be considered for some GovTech position, you need Security Plus. That's why we put it there. So every certification we choose and put on your path, we've thought about it very hard. And now after that, we recommend the RHCSA. This is the Linux certification that's most in demand on the marketplace for one reason, because it's the Linux operating system that's the biggest out there, which is Red Hat Linux, and it's the only certification that's hands-on. Basically, they hand you a server. It's not like the Linux certification from CompTIA. It's a hands-on certification where they hand you a server and they tell you do things to it. So it's either you know what you're doing or you don't. You cannot multiple choice your way out of it. So that's why it's very well regarded. Now that you understand Linux, you can prove that even if you are not the best Linux system administrator, you can handle an operating system because you've passed the cert. The next level is, do you understand automation? Because that's what's important, because creating users, doing a manual task is a thing of the past. What proves that you understand automation at an enterprise level where you can operate and be productive in an enterprise environment? It's automation through Ansible, and that's where we encourage. And the key word here is encourage the second certification, which is RHCE. We leave you to decide if you want to go for the certification, but at least get the knowledge for the RHCE. If you put your head down, you do the work, you get the second certification, you actually will probably get a job faster. A lot of people confuse hitting the job market fast and getting a job fast, because you can be on the job market looking, and you can actually stay back a bit, be build up your knowledge portfolio, and show up in style and get a job faster. So that's what we recommend. We actually incentivize it, because you can choose to actually not go the route of automation. You can, after your RTSA, you get the apprenticeship, you go to start looking for a job. But what we do is, if you go for the automation track, it's included. You don't pay anything extra. And by the way, this is the last cohort with doing that. But if you choose to go to the
Wow.
job market without the RHCA or without the RHCE, it's fine. We're gonna support you. We're gonna help you. But if you realize how much it's important and you come back, you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, yeah. So y'all better take the opportunity now.
Exactly. It's a
Like,
way to
yeah.
incentivize what I think is the best option. You see,
Hmm.
so it, in the cohort that starts in a few weeks, it's included. It, it's part of the program, but after that you're gonna have to pay extra for going that track. So anyone considering, who was on the fence about enrolling at YellowTail Tech, now is the time. It's the least expensive you're gonna be able to get in that program, which is now. But
Yeah.
after uh, May 27th, you're gonna have to pay to get the track. So that's basically it.
Mighty Savage asked for clarity. Which program track is that?
It's the automation track. So if you allow me, I can illustrate that real quick for your peeps.
Yeah,
Let me,
definitely.
um,
You can
yeah.
share your screen.
While we look for it, if you have any other question, I can answer that.
Yeah, definitely. So let me make sure there aren't any. All right, so let me look at some of the originally submitted questions. All right. So where would someone? Because I know YellowTail Tech has different tracks, as you're saying. Where would be the best track or pathway for someone to start who has no experience at all, where they're
Yeah.
just kind of coming raw?
All right. Let me share my screen. Allow me.
Should.
Let me know if you can see my screen.
All right, I just put it up.
All right. So this is what we're talking about. This is where you get the Linux training here. Of course, this is part of the program. It has always been for the past probably 7 years. You get the RHCSA. We've added Security Plus because that's what we see the market is asking for.
That's
And then
amazing.
naturally you go to apprenticeship, and this is where you start getting the career support we offer. Everybody gets that. Now at this juncture, you get to make a choice. You choose to go to the job search and we will support you, or you choose to go to the Ansible automation track, which has the RHCE as a capstone. You can choose to go for the certification or not. We will leave that to you, but we will train you heavily on automation and make sure you are ready for the marketplace. And then you hit the job search. If you go that route, it's included only for this cohort. It's included in our tuition. Okay. But later, in any other cohort, it's going to be an additional fee to actually go for that track. Like I said, you have two options. You go the short way, which I think is the most difficult, believe it or not. Or you go to the automation and Ansible. You spend 3 more months. Maybe it's going to be grueling, but it's not only going to be worth it. It's going to make you more relevant for the marketplace. It's going to
Yeah.
make you more valuable for the
Yes.
marketplace. And value goes
To
along
dollars.
with dollars.
Yeah.
So you are more likely to get a job, and not only more likely to get a job, but you're more likely to get a job that pays more. So
Yeah.
that's why we could recommend this. If you come back later to do this, you're gonna pay almost $4,000 more, because that's what this program itself is worth. But
Yeah.
if you do it now, and if you do it before you hit the job market, it's included. That's
Yeah.
what that's to me, that's the way we saw to actually incentivize people to go the automation track, because we know that's what is relevant for the marketplace right now.
That's
I don't
so
know if
good.
it makes sense for people.
Yeah, no, I'm sure if it made sense to me, because I don't catch a lot of stuff. So so I'm sure if I understood, I'm sure everyone else here understood as well. But we'll allow people to ask to expound in the comments. So look, y'all, we're probably gonna be on here for just about another 5-10 minutes max. I promised Jubee we were gonna be off at about 5 minutes ago. So I don't want to take up too much of his grace.
There is a
So
question I
mhm,
see here Adam has um, is there such specialties as virtualization,
mhm,
OpenShift, and such? Yes, yes, and we support you, especially in the apprenticeship. You get exposed to virtualization and many different tools. We give you access to enterprise level tools. The most students say that the apprenticeship, it's probably the most rigorous part of the program, but it's the most fun, because you are solving tickets. You are actually putting together the work the learning you've done in the past 6 months. You're putting it to use. So yes, Adam, all these are included in our program to give you contextual knowledge uh, before you hit the job market. Yeah.
that's solid. That's solid. Yeah, because I wasn't sure. I said OpenShift, satellite. I don't know what any of this stuff is. So, so again, y'all, this shows because I've y'all, I've interviewed a lot of people in this space. I've clearly talked about tech roles in the industry for so long, but then whenever I see, it's very rare that I see stuff that I don't know. I would say y'all are asking some really educated questions, but these questions are one, they're exposing things I don't know, but two, they're highlighting the knowledge that Jubee has, and obviously the knowledge that his team and his instructors have as well. So I love these hard hitting questions y'all are asking, because it really shows y'all, it's giving y'all insight
um,
as to what you'll be able to learn.
I, I want to quickly do a quick survey. Is anyone here listening to this is currently in the enrollment process? If or are you talking with an enrollment advisor? If so, press type of one. I'm curious to see.
Yeah. So also
Yeah.
we'll see a question. We'll see a question from Chills. So Chills, and there was another question earlier from Mighty Mouse. So I'll kind of double up with both. So Chills asked, is the training with YellowTail Tech live, instructor led?
Yes.
And then okay.
It's
So
a
yes, it is.
hybrid program. So
Mhm.
it's instructor led. You have to be able to show up to class 2 to 3 times a week. Plus, you have to have 7 to 10 hours to put in the work a week. I'm being very transparent here. It's not something you open your laptop, every only when you have live lessons. There is work to do on your own. You need to enroll your tribe, your spouse, and creating time to do the work. We don't sell easy. What we do sell is a system, a process that has been working for 10 years. We do sell that. We support you relentlessly, but you have to do the work, you have to commit, and you have to have the time to do that. So yeah.
That's good. Also, Mighty Mouse asked earlier, are there financing options?
Yes, we have several financing options for even the credit challenged people.
Yeah.
But yes, we do.
Yeah, that's super good. Wonderful, wonderful. Um, so oh, that's good. So Adam says he doubled down on his question. He said he was asking that question before because he sees he follows a few people on Twitter that say that some of those things that he mentioned before, the virtualization, OpenShift, satellite, he says
Yeah.
that they are in high demand and companies are offering a lot of money for these specialties.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Because if for your information, Cyrus, OpenShift is just what they call private cloud. So
Okay.
a lot of government agencies, they cannot, for regulatory and security purposes, they cannot go and be on AWS or Google Cloud or you name it. They have to build their own cloud environment. And OpenShift is a tool, very powerful tool that helps you create your own cloud environment that you control completely. So that's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So Nika Nika D says, and I'm sorry, the dark humor in myself wanted had that joke, not that joke, but when that person said I'm legally blind, but you said would you recommend this to someone partially blind? So
If you can see the screen, you can do this. If you can type what you type here, you probably can do this.
yeah, yeah, if you can see the screen and if you can type, then you should be good to go, even if you're
Good.
legally blind.
Yeah, if you can show up to a Zoom a meeting, you got it.
All right, so last question that I have. So we know GovTech has been going really well as well in terms of getting certain roles in the GovTech space. I personally, full transparency, y'all know I don't really push GovTech too much because I'm really big on getting the best dollars you can get when you can get them. I know the GovTech space, generally speaking, doesn't at least start off paying as well as the private sector. Nevertheless, the GovTech space is often hiring. Want to know, are there positions available in the GovTech space for roles that
Yes.
YellowTail Tech educates people in?
Yes, very much so. The GovTech space is always hiring, despite the debacle of a few months ago, which I'm sure you noticed. The president walked back all these firings because not only it was misguided, but it was illegal. And something a lot of people don't realize, the government, despite all this nonsense, the government is growing. If the country is growing, uh, uh, um, if the market is growing, the government has to grow. So there's always more job in the government that needs to be filled. So if you have a clean background, which is very important, but there's no way you're gonna get into GovTech, with a felony, for example. But if you have a clean background, it's an industry you should consider because, Cyrus, not everybody is chasing the highest dollar. Some people are just chasing stability.
True,
And
very
and
true.
despite that debacle we saw, the, the government, because a lot of people say, well, government is not stable. Well, let me tell you, it's still more stable than
And the
the
private.
the private sector.
Yeah,
You
that's
see?
true. That's very true.
So if you are looking for stable work,
Hmm.
it's still stable work with benefits, a little slower pace. This is still your thing. Not
Yeah,
everybody is chasing the top dollar every time.
yeah,
It's sometimes not sustainable. Sometimes it's not even
that's
fun.
true.
You see what I mean? So
That's
maybe
true.
you and
That's
me,
true.
that's what's important to us, but not everyone, man.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And again, to the point of what you said, it's not, it's not, it's not okay. Are you either chasing the money or are you chasing stability? Because even in GovTech, the money is still good. It's still
Yeah,
above the market of what people
especially
are making.
especially when you get to a point where you have a clearance. A lot of people don't realize having a clearance comes with a premium, which is 30 to 45 thousand dollars more than the average you would get without a clearance, and that's
Wow.
according to what level of clearance you have. You see what
Yeah.
I mean? And some companies sponsor that.
Yeah.
So it has and also what's amazing with the clearance is that it's yours, meaning you can move to another a government entity or a government contract with the clearance. Once you have it, a company needs to sponsor you to have it, but once you have it, it's yours. And
Yeah.
your only job is to keep it active by not getting into fights, by not, slapping your spouse around, and by staying in your lane. That's
Basically,
all you
just being a regular decent human.
yeah. And a lot of people, they screw it up, they screw up their credit. And now when it's time to renew the clearance, they can't. You see, it's very important.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. All right, Nika clarified said light sensitivity. Yeah, so just put the blue light filter on your laptop and maybe turn it down a little bit. It sounds like you'll be fine, totally fine. And this has been really, really good. So look, y'all, we're about to go ahead and wrap up. I want to make sure that y'all paid attention to what he said earlier. So not only is this one of the best spaces, if not the best industry in tech to get into, because this industry has just been growing, growing, growing. This industry, because of the boom that's happening when it comes to the supercomputers, when it comes to AI, when it comes to a lot of what we're seeing in the market, the foundation, the infrastructure in order for a lot of that to happen and take place is Linux. So that is one of the reasons why this industry is growing and is exploding. And so, as again, I always tell people to avoid the industries in tech that are not the best to get into, the ones that are the most volatile or the ones that are not doing good right now in the market. But literally, what YellowTail Tech is able to provide for you, whether we're talking Linux roles or we're talking cloud roles, literally are the things that the market has in very high demand today, as well as the certification you get through the program and so much more. What I do really want to highlight, though, is what Jubee said earlier, that the specific certification and education that you get on the back end, that's something that currently right now is included in the program. But if you wait until later, that'll be something that will not be included automatically in the program. It will be a
Additional.
basically another fee, additional fee. So make sure you hop on it as soon as possible. The very minimum that I would say, if you're serious, again, if you're serious, make sure that you click the link below so you can have that free consultation with their team. So you can get certain questions answered, get clarification on certain things. Again, they have financing, even financing for those that are extremely credit challenged, and so they have financing for you. Again, I've interviewed several of the alumni with YellowTail Tech, including gotten to understand some of the knowledge the instructors have. I can really go on and on. They've won the Inc. 500's fastest growing companies 2 years in a row. So again, for those of y'all that are on Instagram where you're like, look, I'm looking to get in the tech industry. I'm looking to get a high paying career that I can grow and scale, that has stability, that's in high demand, that's going to be here for a long time. If you're on Instagram, comment Linux admin. Y'all can see the pinned comment that's there. Just comment Linux admin. For those of you that are on YouTube and LinkedIn, y'all see it's also pinned in the chat. You can copy that to use that link, or you can look at the description down below, and the clickable link is there for you to just be able to click on that so it can pull it up in the tab for you. Again, make sure you schedule your free consultation with their team. And so again, y'all, I feel grateful that Jubee was able to come on here, drop a lot of nuggets and gems for us. Make sure that y'all show him a lot of love in the chat. Drop a thank you, a fire emoji, some emoji, or something in the chat just to show your
Thank
appreciation
you
for
for
Jubee.
having me, man.
Yeah, no, really deeply, deeply appreciate you, Jubee. Yeah, very excited. And yeah, y'all, they won Inc. 500's fastest growing companies 2 years in a row. He believes this year is going to be their third year because of their level of consistency. So big up to that. Big ups to the work that YellowTail Tech is doing. All right, we got one fire emoji in the chat from Sock Hawkage. appreciate you, Sock. So all right, good stuff, good stuff. All right, y'all. So look, again, make sure y'all click the link. The rewatch will be available for those of you that came in late. You can watch the replay as soon as we hop off. It'll be available to you. And other than that, y'all have a blessed and beautiful evening. So credit shouldn't affect you too much as long as you can explain any indiscretions and are very forth. Okay, cool. All right, that's obviously you need to show a lot of responsibility, integrity, accountability. Okay, cool. Sounds like Jay might be speaking from experience, maybe.
Yeah, apparently he has a clearance. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Oh yeah, you're speaking about the clearance stuff. Yeah, thank you for that last gem, JM. Appreciate that so much. All right, good stuff. All right, y'all. So again, make sure y'all click on the links. For anybody that's like, where the links at, the links in the description. Or if you're on Instagram, comment Linux admin, and it'll be there for you. Other than that, y'all have a blessed and beautiful evening.
Yes. All right, man. Have a great evening.
All right, good stuff.